Good morning.
What's up? I'm so glad you came back for this video. Also, please don't judge my nails. So this video is going to be a little weird, a little funky, a little fresh, but I am super hyped for it. This may just seem like your typical boring ass vlog. However, I wanted to incorporate a little how-to on taking iPhone pictures, how I edit, and what apps I use, as well as some natural poses you can do to look less awkward and like you're trying to pose. We all love a good solo pic for Instagram, and I promise you this process will make you feel like a bad bitch.
Look like I'm going to like a Zoom interview. I really just love the creativity that is available whenever taking pictures. I have used this technique to take Eli's graduation photos, my younger brother's graduation photos, so I will put some of those photos up. All you really need is just someone to take your photos, or you can even use a tripod, but I would recommend a friend, a brother, a sister, an aunt and uncle, a cousin. The next step I would say is figuring out a location. I typically like shooting outside because the lighting is easier to work with. Places that I feel like make good photo ops. Parking garages always do well because you got the light and kind of the neutral backgrounds. A park, storefronts, convenience stores, gas stations, your town square. So definitely utilize Pinterest, Google. I find that the places that you think are gonna look really ugly end up being the coolest pictures. I don't want to do a whole spill on picking out an outfit, but my biggest tip is to use layers as much as you can. I like to find like a staple piece that's like really bright colored or just kind of funky, and then pick out accessories around that piece. I feel like it just depends on your personality and who you are, but overall wear whatever the fuck you want to wear, whatever you feel good in. Something I really enjoy doing is figuring out a fun theme to roll with. So you can think about like what vibe you want to put off or what you're trying to maybe advertise with the photo. But I really feel like having an overall theme is just a good way to like kind of have like guidelines for yourself. Is like what you want out of the photo shoot. Lighting is your best friend when it comes to taking pictures on your iPhone. And a lot of people are afraid to shoot in direct sun, but I think those make some of the best pictures. If you're going to shoot in the direct sunlight, either go early in the morning or at sunset so you can somewhat see, but also the sun is lower to the ground, so you're gonna get more of like a luminance golden hour type situation. The iPhone chooses your shutter speed for you, and it also chooses the light that it chooses to pick up. Obviously you can tap on the phone to show the light where to focus, which I do recommend. The best way to find like the lighting is to just have someone kind of circle you and take like 5 different angles and see whichever angle is the best lighting, and then go from there. If you have something to like look off of, I feel like it's easier to reinvent the photo. The thing about lighting too is you can always adjust it when you're editing. Also with the iPhone, if you flip the phone over, it creates more depth. You can get some really cool shots if you do the wide angle zoom and flip the phone upside down. I personally like to use portrait mode on most of the photos because it does focus much better. My favorite versions of portrait mode to use are the natural light, the studio light, and the contour light. I will say when it is overcast, take advantage because Usually the light will be really even and it makes your skin look really good. We love her. This is just my personal advice. I figured all of this out through trial and error. So don't be afraid to go a little crazy with it. That's my motto. That's my biggest thing here. Now we're gonna work on posing. This is my favorite part because you can be very creative. You get to use your body and it's a fun way to kind of like show off your outfit, show off your personality. Something that is hard to remember when posing is your face. Your face shows your emotion. So you're just gonna make sure that you're not just solely focused on your body and you lose your facial expressions. I feel like it's important to just let loose. The key here is to just keep moving because that's gonna help you get the most potential photos. I feel like posing is such a strong word. It's really just about, you know, being in the moment and feeling yourself. So don't be afraid to look away from the camera. Make sure when you're taking a photo, you know how much of your body is in the frame. If someone else is taking them for you, ask, you know, is it just my waist up? Are my shoes in it? So that way you can kind of gauge how much of your body you need to pose. So another thing that I have been taught is to make triangles with your body. It's going to be really flattering and just help your body seem longer. Surfaces will help you a lot. So you can use these to lean. Those always make for really good pictures. It's good to have like a little bit of dynamics in your photo too, so you can always use like a staircase or a chair. It makes it more creative because you're not just standing there in all your pictures. Another tool that us ladies have is our hair. You know, you could scrunch it up, you could hold it in a ponytail. So yeah, use your hair, play with your hair, don't be afraid to do that. It just shows your authenticity.
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 This shows the authenticity of the video, right?
Alright, so now we're going to get into filtering. You can do whatever you want here. This is just the way I like my pictures to look, but these apps have so many cool editing features, so you can add your own flair. 9 times out of 10, I'm using VSCO or Tezza. I do have the premium versions of both, but they're pretty reasonably priced, and they both offer free trials as well. First, you are going to want to pick out a filter you like. I went with Mood 3, and this is on Tezza for this photo. I usually like to reduce the amount of filter to give it a more natural look. Next, you'll be able to get a little more detailed with it. I like to start by playing around with the contrast, and then I move on to shadows and highlights. You can see how much it brightens up the photo. Then we're going to move on to HSL, which stands for Hue, Saturation, and Luminance, and mess with those a little bit. Next, we're going to move backwards and go to the brightness and the exposure. And if you're like me and obsess over grainy photos, then I like to add this as my final touch. And bada bing, bada boom, this is the before and after. VSCO is pretty much the same process, but they do have way more filters to choose from. On VSCO, I like to start with the highlights and shadows and then move on to temperature, especially for this photo because it's already super saturated and colorful. You can also adjust your skin tone on VSCO. Sometimes I like to mess around with the blur effect as well if I want to focus on something specific. Alright, I feel like this one turned out really cool as well. Please let me know if you try this little method and tag me in your pictures because I really want to see them. Also, I'm going to be annoying and post a little link to my website, and I will get to posting the instructions on there, so if you need them written, then you have them.